Sir, good evening. Himanshu sir, good evening. So just a minute, let me see the voice. Sir, am I audible, sir? Himanshu sir, am I audible? You are not audible, sir. Sir, Himanshu sir, am I audible? Am I audible? Right, sir. But you are not audible, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Now you're audible. Namaskar, sir. After a long time.
Please share your PPT once.
Right, sir. Right. Yes, sir. I think, sir, it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Absolutely.
sir. Right, sir.
Only you have to be a little vigilant on the volume.
Right, sir. Okay, sir. Right. I'm just increasing it, sir.
Yeah.
It's 100%, sir. I can hear you, and I think you can also hear me.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So when you'll give me the command, sir, I will start. Okay, sir. When you'll give me the
Just
command.
in 1 minute. Just in 1
Okay,
minute
sir.
time.
Okay, sir. Right, sir.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. So, you are ready, Surajit sir?
Yes, sir. I am ready.
On behalf of Aryavarta Sahodaya School Complex and our founder chairman, I welcome you once again with all my team. Our resource person is here, Mr. Surajit Sen, one of the most sought after one. We are very, very eager to learn from him. So requesting Surajit sir to please start the session.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So once again, good evening to Himanshu, sir. Good evening to all the principals, teachers, vice principals who are present in today's platform for yet another 1 hour of excellent learning for all of us. And today our topic is active learning. Now, respected teachers, I'll tell you this active learning is gaining quite a populace among the teachers, among the teaching fraternity. In fact, if you look at into NEP 2020, if you look into all those the pedagogies that have been mentioned by NEP 2020 for school education, if you look into the NCF of foundation stage as well as for school education, then you will find that a lot of discussions are there with active learning. Gone are the days of passive learning. In today's world, or more preferably in today's educational world, passiveness will not work anymore. You know, that one-sided affair will not work anymore. That monologue will not work anymore, where the teacher used to come into the classroom with a book in his hand. He just used to read a lesson, or he used to solve a few problems and then left the classroom and left the rest of the things into the minds of the students to decide what to do and what not to do, how they will learn, what they will do, and finally how they will go for examinations and all. So all these things were there once upon a time, but now things are changing. And as we all know that there's a paradigm shift in the teaching learning process. So keeping all this in mind, we enter into a beautiful world of active learning. We sometimes call it as activity-based learning also. But before we go further, definitely we'll once again give our tribute to Alvin Toffler, the person that the futurist, an educationalist, businessman, who in 1970, in his book Future Shock, told that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And again, this particular quotation of Alvin Toffler has tremendous relevance to our very own vocation. As you all know that I never call teaching as a profession. It's a vocation, it's a calling. It's on God's wish that we are doing such a wonderful work. So keeping again in mind Alvin Toffler, keeping again in mind the modern theory of learning, understanding the classroom, let's go a little forward. Okay, excuse me. Well, all of you know me. There's nothing much to talk about it. Okay, so this is just a slide of mine, that's all. And these are also nothing, not to discuss too much about. These are some of the certificates that I have received so far in order to get my trainings and all these things. So not to talk about these things. Okay, activity-based learning or active learning, we'll call it, engaging minds through hands-on experience. See, you do an activity. When you are doing an activity, definitely first thing that those things that you use, those body parts in a more simple way, are definitely your hands, your body language, and which has a direct connection with the mind. We think, we apply our psychomotor skills, and we engage in our learning process. So that's why it is said that engaging the minds, engaging the brain, the cognitive part of the body with our hands. So psychomotor, cognitive part and psychomotor part, both are simultaneously working in this particular system of learning, what we call as active learning or activity-based learning. Respected teachers, before I move a little deep into it, I'll just have a short discussion about Bloom's taxonomy. You know, we simply cannot forget Bloom and his group of students whenever we are into any type of doing any type of pedagogy, doing any type of school teaching learning processes or whatever. In 1956, Benjamin Bloom, when he wrote the Bloom's taxonomy, he said, of course, so we have the different aspects of learning, like the cognitive part, the effective part, and the psychomotor part. And mostly he took the cognitive part, where he said that there are 6 different parameters of learning which takes place in a classroom. They are generally, say, according to Bloom, it was knowledge, comprehension, analysis, application, better to say application, analysis, and after that he said synthesis and evolution. This is what Benjamin Bloom said, that students first, they just get some knowledge about the thing, then they try to understand it, then they try to apply that in a new place, break them down into smaller parts, again they try to find out what are the missing points, and finally uh, first they do something, and they join the missing parts and all, and something new comes out of it, or just goes on doing it. This is what Benjamin Bloom said. And he said, he talked about knowledge, he talked about comprehension, he talked about application, he talked about analysis, he talked about synthesis, and he talked about evaluation. First do, and then evaluate further things. Now, later in 2000, I think, if I am not making a mistake, his student Lauren Anderson, and along with some others were also there. They said, no, what Bloom sir said is okay, but classroom is a happening place. It is an active place where something is happening. So they said, no, it will be like this. It will be like remembering, which is much more simplified, then understanding, then application, then analysis, then evaluation and synthesis. So it's more of an active work. It's more of doing something practically. And this part, the second one, that is the revised Bloom's taxonomy, became more popular than Bloom's taxonomy, and nowadays it is used worldwide. You can say active based learning. Now, if you take to that one, active based learning actually first came into the mind of Lauren Anderson and his group of people, his group of friends. And that's why it is called Revised Bloom's Taxonomy by Lauren Anderson et al. Okay, so that is how it all started, we can say. And of course, then work is going on, and more development has taken place in active learning, and now it is one of the most popular pedagogy that can be used in schools across the world. Let's go a little forward. Once again, I will just have a small discussion about a teacher, because we are doing active learning. So what exactly as a teacher I am supposed to do, or what is my conclusion, or what is my thinking as a teacher? So I'll just read this beautiful paragraph written by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, okay, in a book for parents and teachers, where he has beautifully mentioned about the teachers. I have come to the frightening conclusion that I am the decisive element. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. Beautiful. I have come to the frightening conclusion. You can clearly understand the word frightening conclusion, what he means to say, that I am a decisive element. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. Okay, weather of the classroom, obviously. I possess tremendous power to make people miserable or joyous. I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. Okay. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis is escalated or de-escalated, and a person is humanized or dehumanized. Mark this particular line. If we treat people as they are, we make them worse. If we treat people as they ought to be, we help them become what they are capable of becoming. So please, a little bit of clapping for Johann Wolfgang for that last particular line. If we treat people as they are, we make them worse. It's a fact. If we let them go the way they are, then we'll just convert them from bad to worse. But if we treat people as they ought to be treated, we help them to become what they are capable of becoming. Okay, a beautiful small approach by Johann Wolfgang about teachers. Okay, fine. Let's move a little forward. Now we have over here Elizabeth F. Berkeley, a very young lady, okay, who is also doing a lot of good work on activity-based learning or active learning. And she has given a very simple definition of activity based learning or active learning. I'm telling activity based learning or active learning, both are equally same. Okay, so according to Elizabeth F. Berkeley in 2010, she said that a process where students engage in activities such as reading, writing, discussion, or problem solving that promotes analysis, synthesis, evaluation of class content. So you can get a touch of Bloom's taxonomy again over here. So as I said in the beginning, we simply cannot forget Bloom and his entire group of brilliant students who has given us such beautiful ideas about education. So in this also, Elizabeth Berkeley also touches Bloom. So she's saying that activity-based learning or active learning is what? It's a process. But definitely it's a process. It's an action whereby students engage in activities. Different types of activities students are engaged in, such as reading. Right from nursery onwards, we talk about reading. We make students read. Even though NEP 2020 is saying that the foundation stage will be activity based, one of the activities will definitely be reading, and most of the schools are doing. Then of course comes writing, and then the discussions or problem solving. If you see NCF foundation stage, in various places the experts has given us ideas about how to go on with reading, writing, and discussion, and what we call as foundational literacy and numeracy. Okay, writing, discuss, or problem solving that promotes what? That promotes analysis. Analysis means what? To break down the matters into small things and to find out where they originate, how this, and then join and rejoin them and come out what we call a synthesis, make something different, make something new. And the process of evolution in the class goes on and on. This is exactly what we mean by activity based learning. So thank you, Elizabeth F. Berkeley, for your beautiful definition on activity based learning or active learning. We'll move a little forward. Now, activity based learning is an introduction to activity based learning. Let's go for the introduction. What is this? Activity based learning is a teaching method that emphasizes learning through engaging. The word activity directly is related to the word engagement. Engage students in the classroom. That teacher who is capable of engaging the students more successfully in the classroom is a successful teacher. That teacher who complains less about the students and compel them more into activities is a successful teacher. So our this activity based learning, it focuses on what? It focuses on active participation, total complete participation, active participation of the students within the classroom. And obviously whenever there will be participation, there will be collaboration. One person alone cannot do activities. He or she needs partners, peers, friends, classmates. So collaboration will take place. And when collaboration will take place, when active participation, then children will experience. They will experience the different forms of learning. They will do things by their own selves. They will do activities by their own selves, or activities been provided by the teachers, through which they will experience what they're learning, which ultimately will become experiential learning. Learning with experience. It's as simple as that. So I will say once again, I will just repeat once again, activity-based learning or active learning focuses on active participation, complete total participation of the students. And for that, the teacher has to be a very dynamic teacher in order to make sure that the students participate. Obviously, when participation comes, one alone cannot do it. Na? It has to be done through groups. It has to be done through friends, peers. Okay, so definitely, and at that time, what will take place? Collaboration. Because when two different persons are joining hands to do one particular work, then definitely both will come out with different types of ideas and thinkings. And when both will accept each other's ideas and thinkings, then collaboration will take place. And when collaboration will take place, People will experience what exactly they are having, they are feeling, they are getting, which we call as experiential learning. So these three forms are the main part, or they are the introductory part, or the originators of active learning. Uh, let's see what else we have from our experts. So, what are the principles? Let us see the key principles of activity based learning. What are the on the basis of which now what? Now, don't ask me too much about principles. Whatever the teacher feels like doing, he or she, the teacher has to identify what needs to be taught in the classroom. That is why it is a learner centered approach. First thing. Second, hands on and minds on activity. Both the brain, the cognitive domain, as well as the psychomotor domain are constantly working in order to give us the results. Okay, real world relevance. Yes, students are put into that camaraderie to get the real world relevance. What exactly is needed, what is happening, why the earth moves around the sun, how the seasons change, why the mountains have snows as we go up, why the temperature falls down and the water turns into snow, how the snow melts when there is a rise in temperature, why the elements combine to form compounds, how the plants have green leaves, and when water falls on them, why they look bright and shiny. These are the real world relevance that needs to be taught to the children, instead of just making them mugging and jugging the facts and then letting them sit in the examination. And that's why this due to this mugging and jugging and rote learning, students used to forget things after a certain duration of time. That's why we need this real world relevance to let them know exactly how this, and for that, we need to do the activities. Encourages critical thinking and creativity, compelling the child to think, and think in a reasonable way, in a logical way, in a perfect way, will definitely create his or her creativity. And that is what activity based learning's principle is. So, what we need to know? We need to know that first of all, it is a learner-centered approach. Everything is about students. Even if you see the way NEP 2020 is made, or the way NCF, that both the NCFs have been prepared by the experts from NCRT and various other circles, they have made everything as learner-centered approach. Everything is for the students. We are there just to facilitate them with whatever information, whatever ideas we get to have. So learner centered approach is first. Second is again hands and mind. So both the hand and the mind should work together. The real world relevance are to be taken into consideration. And of course, when all these things will happen, it will encourage the students to go for critical thinking that will lead to creativity. So these are the principles on the basis of which activity based learning or active learning works on. What are the benefits? What's the big deal about it? For the last 20 minutes, I'm talking about activity based learning, active learning, and talking about this Elizabeth Berkeley and Bloom and what is his name? Uh, uh, this Benjamin Bloom we are talking about, and we are talking about Lauren Anderson, and we're talking about Alvin Toffler. So what is the use? Why these people we have said so many things about this? So definitely we must get some of the benefits. What find? Yes, and it is important. When we will be applying these techniques, when we will be spending so much of time on research or development, applying those in the classrooms, so we must get some benefit out of them. There should be result oriented. Otherwise, it will be a flop show. So one thing that is very, the first point, that is, it enhances retention and understanding. Yes, by doing something with our own hands, with our own thinking, with our own mind, not copying from anywhere, it will definitely help us to retain the things. It has been proved time and again that what children do, what the activities that children do in the classroom, the way they collaborate, they remember those activities, the system of performing those activities, the result of those activities much better than if we just simply come and teach them and give them a lecture in the classroom and finish up the class and say, this is what this is. So it enhances retention, definitely. That's the foremost important thing. We need our students to retain. That is why I always say that good teaching leads to better learning and best retention. Retention is very, very important. Otherwise, if they forget, then it's so. And obviously, if retention is there, then understanding will also take place. Better understanding builds problem solving skills. See, when the mind is working, when the mind is critically thinking, when creativity is developing, when retention happens, understanding happens, then the problem solving quality of an individual increases by several folds. That's why we say practice, practice, practice. You start driving a car, first few days, you will simply, when you start driving, what happens? You just simply, you don't know what exactly to do. Sometimes your mind is on the brake, sometimes your mind is on the steering, sometimes it is on the gear, this, that, and but constant practice, constant application leads to confidence. And after maybe 15 or 20 days, one becomes an expert. If not an expert, definitely somebody who can control the things and can at least go and drive the car. Education is exactly like that. Hold it on, go and do it, apply, and finally one becomes a master of it. That is what happens with activity based learning. There's a school of thought, there's a school of thought which used to believe, there's a school of thought. Sir, am I audible, sir? Himanshu, sir?
Absolutely.
Okay, sir. Fine, sir. Fine. Okay, sir. Just a minute, sir. So this happens. So retention is very important. More practice, more understanding, with that creativity and the problem solving qualities will come. See, today, if you see how the way the children, they come out with the bright and beautiful answers, because we are compelling them to think in a different way, and they can easily solve the problem. So builds problem solving skills, promotes teamwork and communication. When we are doing an activity in a classroom on any particular subject, definitely teamwork is happening. We have discussed about this, what you call principles of active learning, and one of the principles is that of collaboration. So it promotes teamwork. When activity happens, it's a natural process. Respected teachers, I'll tell you, two, three, four students will try to join each other, try to take ideas from each other. Somebody has come out with a bright idea, another person will be there, he will try to ornament that idea, will garnish that idea, and that teamwork goes on. And with that, the communication skills develop, the system of understanding, feeling for each other develops, which is very much needed in a teamwork to bring out the best. And this will lead to what? To student motivation. If today the students are doing something and they are successful, that success will lead to more, that will motivate them. So they will come out with a better one and a better one, and the process of learning will become wonderful. It will turn out to be a wonderful classroom. Complete total engagement. No time pass, no nothing. And at the end of the session or end of the term, we will find that students have come out with beautiful ideas, with coming out with flying colors. And that's what we need. It's very easy to say all these things, then to be done. But yes, We are doing it. We teachers are doing it. We have the capacity and the quality to do all these things with the help of our teachers and our colleagues within the four walls of the classroom and beyond the four walls of the classroom also. So, what are the different types of activities that we should do in active learning or activity-based learning? Very common. See, there are plenty of them. Plenty of. At least I can tell you that there's a list of about 30 to 35. But I have just for today's sake, I have just taken a few. Okay, I've just taken a few, and we'll be discussing about these things. But there are plenty of activity-based learning or active learning which we can apply in our classrooms. One is definitely role playing and simulations. Now, role play has been designated or has been accepted universally as one of the best activity-based learning or active learning in order to help the students to remember, to retain, and to apply and to create that creativity within themselves. Yes, because when they do something by their own selves, they remember it. I remember my teachers, some of my teachers in my school, during those days, uh, now education, 60% of our learning we have to imagine. 60% of our learning we have to imagine. And the rest, okay, this way, that way used to get. And I still remember some of my teachers, the way they taught us, the way they used to use us to make small plays, and they used to make scripts from the chapters. I remember my science teacher, the way he used to make us like atoms, and you are carbon dioxide, carbon, and you are oxygen, and you two join hands together, and this is a double bond is formed, and by this the carbon dioxide is formed, okay, to one molecule of carbon, two molecules of one atom of carbon, sorry, two molecules of oxygen join. Or water, how is it formed? If water is heated, then how it breaks down, and how the water vapor is formed. So many things they used to tell us. And especially in history and geography, the way the history teacher and the geography teacher, I remember one of my geography teacher was Mrs. Bhandari. Okay, she's now somewhere, she has become very old, and I think she's somewhere now in Delhi, who has wrote beautiful books on travelogues also. Now, she used to make sound of the river. Beautiful sound used to come through her mouth. She used to make the sound of the river, how the river flows. She used to make the sound of different types of winds, and how the rain used to fall. These were also some sort of role playing and simulations done by the teachers, which she taught us also. So this is role playing is one such where you can make the student act for anything. Give them roles and let them act, and they will remember. Let's just take, for example, if we take the digestive system of human body, one student will play the role of the mouth, one will play the role of the tongue, one will play the role of the esophagus, one will play the role of the stomach, another will play the role of the small intestine, the large intestine, and they will go on describing and talking about it in form of a small script. Those children who are involved in the script, not only they will remember, the others who will see will also remember. And in turn, the roles can be changed and interchanged. Yes, very, very activity based learning or active learning. Worldwide, it is accepted. Group projects and presentations. Nowadays, there used to be a time when children, each and every individual was given a project work to do. And that turned out to be cumbersome for the teachers as well as for the system. Many teachers, they complain to me when I have visited plenty of schools across the country, and whenever I used to talk with them, discuss with them, many teachers told me, sir, this project work is this is ये ना sir, एकदम दिमाग खा जाता है. इतना चेक करते हैं, फिर वो एक कोना में पढ़ा रहता है, कुछ यूज नहीं होते, बच्चे भी भूल जाते हैं, एकदम एक क्या बोलेंगे, एक डस्टबिन जैसे तैयार होकर रुक जाता है. इसका क्या सॉल्यूशन है? तब इट इज गिवन इन एनसीएफ, द सॉल्यूशन इज वेरी क्लियरली गिवन. मेक ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड प्रेजेंट. एक सिंगल प्रोजेक्ट लीजिए, एक सिंगल स्टडी मटेरियल लीजिए, एक सिंगल मैटर लीजिए, उसको डिवाइड कर दीजिए ग्रुप में से। एक ग्रुप करेगा एक पार्ट, सेकंड ग्रुप करेगा और एक पार्ट, थर्ड ग्रुप वो रिसर्च करेगा, वो मटेरियल, एक ही प्रोजेक्ट बनाए, उसको शोकेस कीजिए स्कूल में, बच्चे को एक्सप्लेन करने दीजिए, एक फिक्स डेट बनाइए, प्रिंसिपल को बुलाइए, वाइस प्रिंसिपल को बुलाइए, और सारे स्कूल के कुछ जो बच्चे वो समझ सकेंगे उनको बुलाइए, दिखाइए, एंड देन यू इवैल्यूएट इट एंड गिव द मार्क्स फॉर द प्रोजेक्ट. Wastage of time will be less, wastage of materials will be less, results will be more. I'll give you an example. Let's take for example the temples of India. If social science में अगर प्रोजेक्ट बनाते हैं हम लोग, तो temples of India, which will give us a very good idea about the temples. You give one part of the student to discuss about the temples of South India, how they were built. You give a group of students to how the temples of Central India were there, and how the temples of North India and East India and other, and you will see how the changes how the changes are forming. Like say for example, the temples of South India have a different art form, different architectural form as compared to North India, because North India is a place where because of the climatic conditions, tremendous snowfall, the temples have that the slanting rooftops, so that if ice falls, it will just slide down without damaging the temple. Now this change in the structure will not only help them to learn social science alone, but it will help them to learn mathematics also. It will also help them to learn physics also, if not chemistry, a little bit associated with it. Or let us go to the temples of the northeastern, and you'll find they are all dome shaped with a pointed trishul or something like that on top. The central the Indian temples are more or less hexagonal shaped, and the South Indian temples are again a different one altogether, made up of very solid pillars and all these things. So this work, if they do together and they just make 2 or 3 temples and make one project work, with the interlinking of how, with the change of seasons, change in the climatic conditions and all, how the temple structures have changed, will turn out to be a wonderful project work for the students.
Sir, can
And
I
I'm
draw your
sure
attention?
they are bound to get good marks, and
Surajit
the
sir,
teachers will definitely
Surajit
showcase
sir,
this types of project work.
Surajit sir, your
This is my
PPT.
suggestion. I'm not an expert in this matter to let, but you can go for it. Give a try and see whether it really works out or not.
Surajit sir, your PPT is not visible.
Pardon, ma'am?
Your PPT is not visible.
Oh, PPT is not visible. Okay,
No.
okay. 1 second, I'm trying. Okay, ma'am. Right, ma'am. Is it visible now? Not
No,
yet.
sir. No, sir.
Okay, wait. I'm trying, madam. I think some technical glitch
Technical
is there.
glitches.
Just a minute. I'll just take one more minute. I think now it is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Okay, thank you. I think it just slipped down due to some reason or other. Uh, okay, ma'am. So what I am talking about is that project work, group project work. Instead of asking 40 children to make 40 different project work, take one particular project and do it. And enough of ideas will come from the students, and learning takes place. And of course, all the 21st century skills that we are expecting to get our students will also come through this. Same with experiments and model making is another activity based learning. Make models, whatever they want to make, both the mind and the hand will work together along with the heart also. So effective, cognitive, and the psychomotor, all the 3 domains of learning will take place over here. And of course, nowadays we are getting a lot of educational games. Okay, educational games and storytelling. And I will again always I am a tremendous big supporter of storytelling. A good teacher tells a story on any subject in such a way that students will retain them forever. I think once I told you this. If I have not, I'll just tell you a small story. But just give me 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. I'll tell you a small story about how one of my social science teacher used to tell us when he used to read our answers. Okay, this social science teacher in my school where I was a student. Uh, I don't. Even I forgot when I was a student of the school. Somewhere in the uh, late mid 90s. Okay, this social science teacher, our Mr. Biswas, was a fantastic teacher, and he used to take, this what you call surprise tests for us. And suddenly he used to come as a and he used to say, okay, boys, we'll have a surprise test. And one day he came and he told, we'll have a surprise test just now, and he just gave one question to us to answer, and that was, describe Alexander's invasion to India. And all the boys, they wrote the answer. And a few unusual answers used to come. And he used to read those answers. They turned out to be beautiful stories to remember and understand the thing. One such student was there. I am not taking his name right now. Okay. But he wrote an answer, and sir was reading his answer. The answer was something like this. Please, teachers, listen. The answer was something like, and you will love it definitely. That yes, stories should be told in this way, even if they are whatever answers they are. So the question was, describe Alexander's invasion to India. And one boy, he wrote it in there. Sir was reading it in this way. It was a cold, dark night. Rain was falling and falling and falling, and the moon was shining and shining and shining, and Alexander was coming and coming and coming. These were the exact words that particular student wrote, and sir was reading this by using his voice in a different way. And then cling, 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 the sounds of the swords could be heard. And then Alexander told King Porus, how you want to be treated? King Porus said, the way one king treats another king. Alexander was pleased with King Porus' audacity, and he said, and he returned back India to King Porus, and then he went to Mount Everest, and he jumped from there and went to Japan. So sir said, okay, boy, if Alexander has gone up to the Himalayas, and from there, if he has jumped from there and have gone to Japan, then the world would have become different. But I'm not concerned about all those few nonsense things that were written in that answer. The way that person read to us, and after so many years, I still remember them. Storytelling is a unique approach of making students learn. Physics teacher, chemistry teacher, biology teacher, they can make beautiful stories out of their contents. And it's not only that literature, English literature and Hindi literature can be taught through stories. Stories can be made in any form. Simple, a double decomposition reaction in chemistry can be converted into a beautiful story and can help the students to remember for rest of their lives about what exactly is double decomposition reaction. Or in that case, in physics, a story can be made how this magnetic fields and all. I'm not so good in physics, but just a few ways of describing it. Even the games can be made. Join this, join with this, the puzzles, the quizzes, okay, the missing words, the missing numbers, or just to increase vocabulary, you just start a particular word, the last letter of the word will make another student to start another word, and in this way it will go on increasing on and on and on. But all we need is a little bit of what you say, a little bit of effort from our side to make a bright and beautiful classroom. Activity-based learning versus traditional. We'll see the difference between the activity. It's very important to know the differences. So activity-based learning versus this traditional learning. Now, Features. What are the features? The activity-based learning and traditional learning. What are the differences? We'll see. Approach. The approach is always student-centered. In activity-based learning, in the modern learning, the approach is always student-centered. Everything is for the students. Whereas the other side, it was more a teacher-centered. Whatever the teacher felt like teaching, he or she just went and gave that lecture and came out of it. Learning style is what? It is experiential. They do, they feel, they understand. And traditional, it was very passive learning. Somehow it was someone was there trying to put something into the mind, and that someone is no one but a teacher. Somehow gave it, and was 25% learned and 75% did not. Engagement level is very high as far as this activity-based learning is concerned. Very high engagement, because everybody wants to do something. Everybody is finding that they are important in the classroom. Their activities, their work, their research work, their sayings, all are important. And on the other side, it is moderate or very low. Just a handful of them are there who listen. Most of the people feel it boring. And the assessment that we give, or the assessment that are given, they are continuous and they are formative in nature. And this is just summative. Okay, that the teacher teaches, a term ends, question paper is made, questions are given, test is taken, finish off. As if that 3.5-hour test will decide how much the student has learned or student has not learned. But then also, respected teachers, I'll tell you one thing. We just simply cannot do away with the traditional learning. The bases are all from the traditional learning. So although we are nowadays, we are not giving that much of that much of value to traditional learning, but let me tell you, we just simply cannot forget the classics. We have to keep them. Maybe even 20% of them are required, should be required. We cannot completely do away with the traditional learning. Now, implementation. How will we implement this activity-based learning? Okay, we are talking about activity-based learning, activities, principles. How will you implement? How will you do them? Now, first of all, design age-appropriate activities. And here again, I will tell that teacher is the master artist over here. A teacher has such insights and foresights that he or she can easily calculate and measure how much his or her students will be able to take, the materials to be taught or materials to be discussed or materials to be learned. I will better say, let's not call it taught, let's call it to be learned. And he or she knows exactly what type of pedagogy to be created in which particular way, so that his or her students will understand. We cannot make things too hi-fi, otherwise they will become toxic for the brain. Neither we can make things very easy, otherwise they will become boring for the brain. So age appropriate, brain appropriate distribution of learning should be done. And that is what the measurement will come when the teacher knows her class, knows the students. Not only the class, not only the students, even the socio-economical background, the culture of the school, the place, the adaptability of the school, all these things play a very, very vital role in preparing their pedagogy. Now, say for example, the pedagogy of a very hi-fi school of say Mumbai or Delhi cannot be all applied to a place like mine, where we are almost in a rural setup, where the economy is developed and the social fabric is different compared to that. So there the children are more active, or I will say more advanced compared to over here. Although the internet has definitely played a very big role in now unifying students all across the country, but still, the differences are there. So that we need to design age appropriate activities, integrate with the curriculum goals. We have the curricular goals. Within that goals, we have to integrate it so that the goals can be achieved. Use formative assessment. Don't go for summative assessment, otherwise it will just remain like take a test and the children mug up the things and they will give the test. Make it a formative assessment. Every day do small activities, watch them, and then make the data, keep a data with you. Then at the end, when your that session or the time you have decided to finish off a particular learning session, then you can come out with the rubrics and can exactly say, okay, this is what we need, this is what we have achieved. And obviously provide feedback and reflection time, very important. The feedback will give the teachers an idea how much the students have learned, where the teacher is lacking, so that he and she can give a better performance next time, and also the students' progress can be measured. Students' progress has to be measured. That's why we are nowadays coming out with this holistic progress card and all, to find out exactly the feedback of how much we can give, the feedback of how much the students are learning. Okay. So design age appropriate activities. I will repeat once again that strategy should be like that for implementation of any type of activity based learning or active learning you are doing in the classroom. Integrate with the curriculum goals. Make sure that it is as per the curriculum. Use formative assessment. Don't go for the summative assessments because those small assessments are required to find out exactly what the true picture is or the big picture is, and definitely provide feedbacks and let reflections happen, so that even if we miss a few things in the first round, we can always do better in the second and much better in the next one, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the challenges that we have to face, well, every hard work, every good work, or whatever work you do, there are challenges. And for every challenge, there's a solution. Like they say, no, every problem has a solution. So we will get challenges, but we have solutions also. Like time consuming and specific planning. Yes, activity based. Whenever you are making a pedagogy of this, it is time consuming. You need to plan, you need to develop, you need to see whether it will, you need to implement in the classroom, and you have to see whether it is really working or not. If not, what are the changes I need? So obviously this needs a lot of planning, and it will consume time. But then the solution is what? Use templates, different types of learning templates. Go for collaboration with whom? Collaborative planning, collaborate with other subject teachers, so that the challenge is overcome. And classroom management is another big challenge over here as far as active, because in the classroom there will be some sort of noise, some sort of movement. Okay, so maybe while doing the experiments, the others may get disturbed and all. So in that case, we have to set very clear rules and roles of the students. Okay, rules should be these for the student, and the roles they have to play in order to make sure that the learning takes place over here. But a cacophony should not be taking place. A cacophony should not be there. This is the end of part one. We'll just have 1 minute break. It will only the time it will take to change the slide, and we'll go to the next. We'll go a little deep now. The big ones. A little discussion for the next 10 minutes or so before we call it a day. Okay, so what are the big ideas? See, strategies for deep dive concepts. The strategies that we have to make for deep dive concepts. Now, see, we are making this pedagogies. We are creating active learning. So we need to go deep into the matter and find out what exactly we will get out of that. So as students prepare for professional world, they are expected to be critical, being critical thinking and problem solving skills they should have with them, and with them to work place and their communities. Yes. See, once they develop for the professional world, we expect them to have that. They should have the critical thinking quality, the problem solving skills they should have, and that should be in their workplace as well as in their communities. So workplace means the place where they are working. They should be able to solve the problems, and in the society where they are living, teachers can best support them with engaged pedagogies. The pedagogies which will help the students to get engaged. This engagement talk we are talking from time and again. Designed to foster student leadership in the classroom, that will help the student to get the leadership quality over here, means with the mastery of the subject and all, and increase student ownership of their own learning. Increase students' ownership means they will understand, okay, yes, I have learned. This belongs to me. I can do with this. I can achieve this. I can achieve my ambition, and all, so on and so forth. Using these strategies for larger concepts ensures that students not only grasp the overarching idea, but also the nuances and intricacies that come with comprehensive topics. So they will learn all the nook and corners of the topics, all the joining points of the topics, and that they have, and then finally they can comprehend, they can understand, and they will be able to master the subject. And these are not just words, this has been proved beyond doubt that, yeah, yes, if the system works in this way, then the results are bound to come. Now, there are a lot of strategies. It can be experiential learning, project based learning, thematic workshops we are talking about, Art integrated learning is one such activity-based learning. Sports integrated learning, toy-based learning, storytelling, physically active learning, and service learning. There's something also called service learning. Okay, maybe one or two terms are new to you, but rest of them are very common. You know them very well. There is nothing big to talk about it, just to reflect them and refresh them. That's all what I am doing over here, because I am not an expert to give you great ideas, because I myself cannot do that. Okay, so we will just say a little bit about experiential learning. Although you have done plenty of training programs on experiential learning, some of you are master in this field, but just a small discussion. Okay, experiential learning, as it describes a set of learning strategies in which the students are asked to take part in the specific experiences and then reflect those experiences. We can also refer experiential learning as doing. Now, this is the definition. Okay, very simple thing. But let's look at this particular illustration over here, respected teachers. See this illustration. It is almost like a graphical representation. You can see the if you just make two lines, you can see the four quadrants. And in the first one, it is saying active experimentation. I'll talk about that a little later. Okay, active. First, you do the work. Accommodate a feel to do it. That is how experience will take place. Then concrete experience, diverging, feel and watch. If you go to the next one, okay, the line is saying transforming experience, and other one is the vertical line is saying grasping experience, and the horizontal line is transforming experience. How the change is taking place. Okay, so first active experimented, go and do it. And when you do it, you feel it. When you feel it, you watch it more, and that feeling will lead to watching more, doing. Then reflective observation, try to rethink it. Okay, I did it in this way. It was in that way. Okay, then assimilating it, think it and watching. And finally converging and doing everything together and remembering it. And this cycle goes on and on and on. So, or in a very simple way, do it, feel it, reflect it, repeat it, and you will remember it. Abstract conceptualizing means think and do it, think and do it and remember it. This is experiential learning in a very, very simple way, but just for today. It can be discussed much more if we have a session on experiential learning also. Project-based learning, I have already discussed about project-based learning, I always say that give single projects. They offer dynamic approach to education, merging real-world problems with academic learning and objectives. It starts by identifying a core concept. You take a core concept or a skill that serves as a project of focal point. Core concept you take, about the temples, about the rivers, about a particular way of writing style, or in physics or chemistry or biology, whichever part you want, which will help the student engage and make things enjoyable also. And then the teacher will also show the ideas of meaningful explanation and detailed planning and outlines on how to do it. Finally, what are the assessment criteria in order to make that project work? How the students will be assessed? So, which are the areas where they should give more emphasis to? So, project-based learning is a holistic approach that turns students into active learners, tackling real-world issues while mastering key academic skills. And in one project, if a particular group project is done, a lot of subjects get involved in it, which I don't have to tell. You all know very well. Thematic workshops, nothing new again, but very good active learning, involving the students into workshops. Thematic workshops are specialized sessions designed around a central theme. You take a particular theme, and then a lot of subjects can be incorporated into it. Okay. Facilitating targeting learning and exploration. Unlike general workshops, these are narrowly focused, diving deep into a particular subject, issue, or a skill or a set. By concentrating on singular theme. Let's take for one example. I'll not dare to say that much, because that great physics man is sitting in front of us. Let's take a simple Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. We can make a thematic workshop on this particular third law of motion, applying it for various subjects. It should not only be limited to physics. It can be limited to it can extend to economics. It can extend to social science. It can extend to biology, physics. keeping the theme as every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So like that, presentations can be made, they can be tailored in such a way with any particular theme. You can take it, and you will see that is what is actually another type of experiential learning, by incorporating collaborative learning also. So we can design them and we can make them the way we feel like doing it, and students will enjoy. Variety. When variety comes, enjoyment happens. Otherwise, that same boring thing will go on and on and on. Art integrated learning. Well, nothing to talk much about art integrated learning. You all are doing it. Yes, that is again coming with the innovative educational approach that intervenes artistic processes with academic content. Different forms of art we have: applied art, then this what you call these dance forms. Each and every dance form talks about volumes about mathematics and physics. So instead of treating art as a separate subject, art integrated learning merges with core concepts like mathematics, science, history, using art as a medium to explore and express the academic concepts. Yes. This not only makes learning more engaging, but also caters to diverse learning styles, particularly for visual and kinesthetic learners. Yes. For instance, students might paint a scene from a historical event, enact a play about a scientific phenomena, or compose music based on mathematical patterns. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha. Like that, they can do it. So, if we allow the students to actively create and reflect, that art integrated learning ensures deeper emotional and cognitive connections. Yes. Simply by even in CBSE prefers. For a long time, I have not corrected papers because I don't get the chance anymore. But I remember during my time when we used to correct papers, children used to do beautiful small cartoons, that what you call today as emojis. They used to use those emoji types and they used to write the answers and used to give full marks because they are giving their ideas. That was an excellent way of art integrated learning. I remember especially one particular paper, I remember some years ago I corrected. What a wonderful paper it was. It was mostly filled with words and beautiful artistic work. My biology paper, of course. So art integrated learning redefines the boundaries of traditional education, emphasizing more on experiential learning, encouraging students to view subjects through multidimensional lenses, various ways and means they can see. Okay. Then sports integrated learning. Again, art integrated learning, sports integrated learning are almost parallel to each other. Sports integrated learning use sports as a medium to teach the concepts, tapping into the enthusiasm many students have for physical activity. By drawing parallels between sports and academics, this strategy provides hands-on practical experience. Yes. How statistics is made, how average is made, how teamwork will work, how leadership skills can develop. These are all there in sports integrated learning. Toy-based learning. And remember one thing, toy-based learning is not only limited to the primary classes and pre-primary classes. Toy-based learning is something that goes beyond college level also. Yes. So by utilizing toys, educators step up children's innate curiosity and play a beautiful, complex concept more accessible and engaging. Toys, be very simple blocks, Legos, or whatever. They will develop the motor skill, the cognitive skill, and definitely the affective skills when different things will come out. And of course, storytelling, I have discussed a lot about storytelling. Will not go deep into it. Only I will say that pedagogy for letting students understand what they need to understand. Physically active learning combines physical movement with cognitive tasks to enhance learning processes. Okay. This approach recognizes a strong link between physical activity and cognitive function. Okay. It breaks the monotony of the traditional learning and compels the students to physically make themselves active, and at the same time the process of learning will also continue. Okay. And service learning or community engaged learning is it is a type of experiential learning that applies student skills and knowledge from a particular discipline of a community issue. Yes, service learning is very appealing to a generation of students who are interested in contributing to meaningful change in their communities and the world. Yes, I'll give you an example of community learning. Let's take, for example, the place where you live or place where your school is, and little bit away from that area, maybe a housing complex is coming and the people working over there are spoiling the very fabric of your school, surroundings of your school by defecating over there, by doing all their unnecessary things, which is creating an unhygienic situation over there. Unhygienic situation. Now, the students together, they can come out with a novel idea, first of all, by discussing with those people and how to use different types of disinfectants, chemicals in order to remove that odor, the bad odor, and how they should do all these things in privacy so that their privacy can also be maintained. So, in this case, they will learn chemistry, they will learn the leadership qualities, and in general, those people who are not educated about hygiene will also get idea about hygiene and can live a better life. So this, we need to think it in this way. You have to come out with innovative ideas, and application of those definitely. Again, it is very easy said than done. It needs lot of hard work, lot of labor, and then only we will be coming out with the best. Okay. Always you have to prepare a lesson plan. Finally, at the end of the day, it's a lesson plan, which is very important. Without planning, nothing becomes successful. Everything is a wastage. So first of all, whenever we'll make a planning for this activity-based learning or active learning, we call it as LAP model. Okay. First of all, clearly define the desired learning outcome. What will be the learning outcome? Why I am going for this community learning, community service learning about disinfectants and all, because the learning outcomes is that the students will understand about the disinfectants, how they react, and how they make the unhygienic condition into a hygienic condition. Strategy, what appropriate strategies I will take. We'll do activities, we will have group discussions, small adult education services we can have. Set context, third parties that provide relevant context. What are the things to be written? What are the things to be maintained in a proper language? Engage the students for the selected strategy. One group will do this, another group will do that. Then assessment. Cause the students to identify the learning gap, where the learning gaps are there, so that they can do it a much better way. Maybe in the first round, it was not that much good. Reflection, create opportunity, and reflection and refine. And the teacher to reflect and refine and improve the active learning activity. So like that, 7 different columns should be there, and you can make a chart out of that and write down everything, because data is important. Rubrics needs to be presented. Okay. You can have this type of an active learning plan also, where the teacher will give the teacher's name, the subject, the topic, the grade, then learning outcome, and step by step you will go on writing everything that you need to know, and you can keep this as a record. Make it simple, make it to the point, make it specific. Have mercy on the principal or the departmental head who has to take so many different learning lesson plans and all. So don't make it too complicated. Nowadays, those complicated lesson plannings are simple, slowly vanishing away. We are becoming more focused on exactly what we need, what the students need, and what the schools need in order to understand that, okay, this is happening or not. All those 20 and 30 columns of writing, that is now going away, that we are doing away. It's useless. So finally, we have some real life experiments. Science, you can build a volcano, which is an activity based learning. Plenty of you are doing it. Shopping simulation for budgeting, mathematics. Go for the shopping. Purchase the things, how they are, how much money is spent, how much is saved, and language, you can go for story creation, dramatization, and all these things. So let's sum it up. I'll not go in detail. I'll just tell you, because it's activity-based learning leads to students towards success. That is one. Activity-based learning promotes lifelong learning. The learning will go on and on and on. Never forget it. Activity-based learning stands for lifetime of engagement. Yes, lifetime engagement. So congratulations, teachers, for being a fabulous teacher, and congratulations if you involve yourself in activity-based learning or active learning with your students, then you'll be doing a wonderful work. I'm just trying to put a song over here. I don't know whether you'll be able to hear or not. If you're not able to hear, then I cannot help you right now. I'll try it somewhere else. Just tell me if you can hear it.
It gave me great pride and pleasure.
Are you able to hear it?
1968, to represent Great Britain in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes, it's audible.
And I probably won. Congratulations.
The voice is breaking.
Congratulations. Celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, it gave.
Well, so that was Cliff Richards, a very active man at the age of 85. He is so active, so definitely we can learn something about active learning from him. In 1968, he wrote this song and he won a prize for it. And since then, it became the most popular song. After Happy Birthday, it is the most popular song in the world. Okay, respected teachers, thank you for being with me, listening to all those things that I was yelling at you, maybe. Whatever, if you need any more information regarding active learning, activity-based learning, and any other thing, you are most welcome to contact me in my phone number. You can email, you can write to me. My email ID is there. I have given you jitsen.sen1@gmail.com, or you can contact me with 82 500 300 91 till 8:30 p.m. My phone is open and I receive calls from everybody. Okay, so with this, we will move to Himanshu sir, will move to Madam for their valuable comments. Ma'am, are you there with us?
Yes, sir. After the
Please.
I'm
Himanshu
only
sir, your
2
comments.
minutes late only to join.
Oh, acha.
Fantastic, fabulous long training you have given. We are really enjoyed, and we know that it's the most important thing, that how
Right.
the output to get from that. So for that, the learning experience, you have different styles of teaching learning process. You said how we can make the learning output is become higher than the traditional layer. Fantastic.
Right, ma'am.
You are not yell at, you are all done on only slightly. You can network glitches often at that only, otherwise it was very good. And
Thank you.
I must thank to Himanshu sir to be being always drag you with you from your busiest schedule also to give the training to the all of us, and because you are sharing the knowledge that is really valuable for us. And thanks from the on behalf of the entire executive
Thank you,
committee
ma'am.
members,
Thank you
and
so
special
much.
thanks from on behalf of us, me to Himanshu sir and Simple ma'am too, because they are really conducting these training programs very nicely, and to the participants also, patiently
Sure.
listening and taken the best out of this training. That's the most important thing, that you have done it. Thank you to each participants. And then next to the Himanshu sir is my training coordinator. Treasurer is already posted the link for attendance. Then you have to take it 15 minutes only you have. Within that stipulated time, you need to fill it up so that you can get the certificates. Over to Himanshu.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you to Surajit sir. It was again an excellent session today. We had the opportunity to learn once more, and we were really overwhelmed with your ideas. And I hope the same would have been communicated to the participants as well. So, on behalf of Aryavarta Saudya School Complex, and our president ma'am has already said, I once again thank you for the session. We'll keep catching you next time also.
Sure, sir.
And
I'll be there. Definitely.
thank you to all the participants. As you all are aware that the feedback and attendance is to be filled up to 6:15, but since the training has extended up to 6:12, so we are extending it up to 6:30. But 6:30 is the dot time at which the link will be closed. to try to complete your attendance by 6:30. And thank you to Simple Ma'am also, the other Aryavart Sahodaya functionaries who are here. On behalf of all of them, I'm thanking once again to all the participants for this enriching session. And your questions are also there. If you could take a few questions, sir, please see.
Yes, sure.
If there be any question, you can type it here.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So there's no such question. They're all introducing themselves and thanking you for your session.
Right.
So with this, I wish to conclude.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And good night to all of you.
Thank you, man.
Okay.